Caleb Gottry. I'm a junior at TCU, a second semester junior. I'm originally from Gilbert, Arizona, and here at TCU I'm studying journalism with a minor in music. Music has always been an interest of mine since very young. Both my parents are music teachers, actually. Journalism specifically, when I was in high school, I started working as the sports reporter for my school. My school is very small, graduating class of 72 kids. So I was the only sports reporter, so I was doing every sport, as many games as I could. And I loved the process of telling other people's stories, and I wanted to continue doing that here at college. TCU has a great program for journalism, specifically getting you ready for all sorts of journalism. I came in having some experience in sports journalism, thinking that's what I was going to do here at college. But then I quickly realized there's so many more opportunities. I got involved in arts journalism with my passion in music and passion in journalism colliding in that way. TCU has really taught me to be a flexible and adaptable journalist, a careful editor, and an involved all-around person in the global community. When I first came to TCU to tour, originally I talked with the then chair of journalism, Uche Onyebade. I sat in his office for probably an hour and a half, just talking about journalism, talking about life, and he really sold the program as a program that I could get involved with quickly, and really grow my skills and learn new ones that I didn't even know existed or that I would be interested in. There are so many people who have helped me on my journey here at TCU. Obviously, Gene Brown is one, a professor at journalism, the director of student media. In the music school, I've grown really close with Dr. Stewart. Dr. Amy Stewart is the head of the vocal jazz department, and I've been in vocal jazz since my first semester here at TCU. And then I also have other mentors that aren't even TCU faculty. Andrew Youngblood here is a community life group leader with my religious spiritual group, Chi Alpha. So that's been really good to have those three people. Yeah, so the Dow Jones News Fund internship takes a bunch of talented journalists from all over the world in a variety of fields. You got reporting, data reporting, so taking numbers and kind of crunching them in a way that readership can understand, editing, social media. So all these things that make up a newsroom, they train you for a week, and then they send you off to newsrooms all across the country to be an active employee at that newsroom. So the Dow Jones News Fund application, because of how competitive it is very lengthy, and a process that I would not have started if some of the mentors in the journalism world here at TCU hadn't encouraged me to. You get your normal application stuff, resume, cover letter, personal essay, recommendation letters, those sort of things. In addition to that, though, you have to take a test. The test is over all 7 fields, or 6 or 7 fields that the Dow Jones has to offer, including fields that you may not be going into. So I had to take the editing test, but I also had to take the data reporting test and the social media test. And that kind of shows your diversity and adaptability as a journalist. I think one of the hardest part, which they kind of said was one of the easiest parts, but not for me, was the reporting section. It was on current events. And I'm not somebody who does a great job of keeping up with current events globally. I more keep up with the current events at my university, in my area. So that was tough for me to study for and kind of look back on the year and see what actually happened this year that maybe I didn't catch. So it's hard to tell what they saw in me that they didn't see in other fantastic, phenomenal journalists across the country. I think one of the biggest things is the recommendation letters that I got from people here at TCU. I've poured a lot of my time and energy into TCU 360 and working with this community here. And so I can only hope that the recommendations I received from the people I work with, the people that have mentored me, helped my application go forward. So applying for the Dow Jones internship, I think a couple things helped me specifically. First and foremost would be Dr. Tisdale's media writing and editing class. It's considered one of the hardest classes you take as a journalism major, but it's heavy on AP style and kind of the fundamentals of editing as a journalist. And so that definitely helped me for that portion of the test. Making sure my cover letter and my resume also followed the same rules that I was saying I knew. In addition to that, just being a leader in TCU 360 and Gene Brown teaching me how to be a leader helped me do an interview with them and say, here's how I help my editors learn how to edit, which is one of the best ways I can show that I also know how to edit. I think the Dow Jones internship is so cool because you get to do hands-on work from day one. So they put you through this training program. I'll be going down to UT Austin and training with all the other editors that the Dow Jones internship selected. And I'll start day one. There'll be probably some training procedures and whatnot, but I'll start day one as a full-time employee editor. So getting to see real-world newsroom experience, real-world editing experience is really cool. So when I got this internship, I told Gene Brown, who encouraged me to apply in the first place, and she said, you have no idea how many doors this will open to you in the future. The way she put it was, if you put Dow Jones on your resume and you walk into a newsroom and you hand them your resume, you'll have like a 90% chance of getting a job there. And that's just, for me, for not knowing exactly what I'm going to be doing in the future, having that stability to say, I know I'm a good editor. The Dow Jones recognized that I'm an okay editor. So to have that recognition on a resume and to be able to give that to somebody and have that job stability is really fantastic. I just love sitting down and talking with the person that I get to interview. I think the best question to ask when you're interviewing somebody for a story is, tell me something that I didn't already ask you. Because there's usually something in the back of their heads that's like, I want to share this. This is the most important thing for me. And those are usually the best moments that you get. In order to engage diverse audiences as your readership, you have to engage diverse audiences as your content of your stories. I think Gene Brown here at TCU, a professor at TCU, does a great job of talking about looking at a story and looking at all the people that the story affects and making sure that you take time to talk to or research about everybody that an individual story connects to or reflects. I think the main thing that makes a journalist, a reporter, or an editor, whatever it is, stand out the most is their adaptability. I mentioned earlier that I came in as a sports reporter, and I really thought that was going to be my bread and butter from day one to graduating. And I haven't really touched sports while I've been here. Mainly was because I didn't pigeonhole myself. I didn't say I'm only going to do sports. I said I'm going to try whatever comes across my desk. And specifically that was fine arts reporting initially, and then eventually editing and being a manager. And so if you're willing to adapt with what your newsroom needs or what your university needs, you come across some cool opportunities that you might not have already thought about. If I were to start TCU day one right now, freshman year, I think I would get more involved with the things that I knew were important to me. I kind of got bogged down with a lot of opportunities coming my way, and a lot of them seemed really cool and were really cool when I got involved with them. But it kind of took away from some of the opportunities I knew I wanted to be involved with. So like jazz choir in the music department and kind of working my way up as a reporter and an editor in TCU 360. And kind of putting my focus in on that a little bit more is probably what I would have done. I'd say if you want to pursue journalism, get involved. Start writing. Even if it's just for your own blog or your own, if you want to do producing your own YouTube channel, start now. You don't need to wait for somebody to tell you that it's okay to write. We all have pens, we all have papers. We can all start writing as soon as possible. I think one piece of advice for students that want to pursue journalism is you're at the right place if you're here. TCU has a great program that encourages students to get involved from day one. You have to take classes, you have to be trained, but you can start writing when you're here. You can start being involved when you're here. You can start making those connections with mentors and peers, and that'll really change your outlook on journalism, your opportunities in the future, and just your community around you. It's very cool here. As I've been at TCU, I've had many opportunities to grow as an editor specifically, a field that I didn't really know was open to me as somebody who really thought I was just a reporter, specifically a sports reporter. So coming to TCU and learning to be an editor and then a managing editor has really shown me different opportunities to get involved in a newsroom in the future. A couple of years ago, I got to cover the story of Aiden Contrell. Aiden was Super Frog. He was one of the 5 or 6 Super Frogs for his entire time at college. Now that he's graduated, he actually still works as a mascot. He works for the Harlem Globetrotters. And that was just such a cool story to tell, and a story I was excited to get to tell as I got to know Aiden as he was a student here, and then got to tell it after he graduated and revealed his secret identity. So as a managing editor with TCU 360, I work with a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds and very busy, involved, classic TCU Frog people. So I think the hardest part would be managing all of our schedules to get a time when we can all meet together, all talk about what we need to do for TCU 360 specifically. But then on the flip side of that is when we get those moments where we can all come together as a team, the most rewarding part is that we have so many different takes and outlets that we can spread TCU 360 all across campus and really deliver the best product we can. After graduation, first of all, I hope to be getting paid and hope to have a job. But my main things are I want to be writing or I want to be editing. I want to still be playing music, singing music. And I want to be spending lots of times with friends and family in different atmospheres. And that kind of, for me, is the life I want to lead after college and for the rest of my life. My 8th grade history teacher was the football coach at my school. And he encouraged every guy in his class, when you get to high school, you're going to try out for football. I knew I was going to try out for football because I don't really have the football physique. So I told him, hey, I appreciate that. I don't think I'm going to try out for football. And he said, okay, I still want you to be involved. I still want you to be part of the team atmosphere. And I've seen how you write. So how about you try, writing sports stories for us, writing features, game recaps, whatnot. And, that was kind of the moment that I'm like, nobody's done that before at my school, but I can take this thing that I'm good at. I can be involved with my friends and mentors and really just go for it. See what happens, start something. I think I've taken a lot of inspiration from the community at the TCU School of Music and brought it to the TCU School of Journalism. The TCU School of Music is highly competitive, but also highly supportive. So to walk in as a minor and not a 5-star performer that TCU has a lot of here, and still be supported and encouraged, but also driven, to be better. And that's a balance that's hard to find that I think TCU Music does. And I've seen, as I've seen it in music, I've seen it also in journalism and tried to encourage it in journalism as a manager as well. The essence of what it is to be a journalist at TCU is to be involved in more than just journalism. The interesting thing about the journalism major here is they require you to have a minor. And one of the things they encourage for your minor is that it's outside of Maudi, outside of the School of Communications. For me, it was an easy decision. I'm passionate about music, and to have that be encouraged to go study it, go study what you're interested in, was a really special opportunity when I got here. And so you'll find a lot of those little things here. To be a journalist at TCU is to be involved in more than yourself, involved in more than your immediate community. And that's really what it is to cover the world as a journalist as well, is to find those things outside of your comfort zone, outside of yourself.